Hi, Fran here. Thought I'd share with you today 7 tips for building better relationships with clients. This is something that, as an external supplier to large corporate organizations, I actually get asked this question by other coaches, consultants, outside corporate trainers, and so forth. How do you build such great, long-lasting relationships with your customers, Fran? So I have 7 tips to share with you. The first one, under-promise, over-deliver. And in fact, I probably do this more than any of the other consultants that I've ever run into. And even if I'm contracting to an organization, so there's very specific definition about what I'll be delivering, I really like to make sure that I am keeping some surprises and some added extra bonuses tucked up in my sleeve and give them more than they expected. Now, those costs are already geared into what my intention is as I put my pricing structure together. It's just something that I'm going to show to them that, hey, I am a supplier, I'm a provider who really cares that you get value for money. So that's my way of doing it. Under promise, over deliver. The next one on my list is in line with that one. That's about always making sure that I give as much as or more than I receive. So, and I don't mean underbilling or undercharging for anything, but exceeding the expectations for what I am willing to give. This is also in line with something around not being fearful that people are going to steal my intellectual property or things like that. I am unique in my field, and I'm quite happy to give away copies of things or lots of, I don't know, things that other people would, I think, keep a really tight hold on, because I know that without the years of background and experience, they're not going to be able to use or to deliver exactly what I do in exactly the way that I do it. So that's something that I suspect you've got to come to learn about yourself and come to trust about yourself, that you are unique and your way of doing something is what they're purchasing. So my way of coaching, my way of training, my way of facilitating things or presenting things, it's very uniquely me. And that's actually what people are paying for. Next is to get really, really clear about what your clients want and continually feed back with everything that you do, everything that you deliver in your proposal writing, in your summaries of work that you've done. Continually feed their words back to them. And because you're clear about what it is that they wanted, so show them, tell them, describe to them how everything you're doing at every step along the way is giving them exactly what they were asking for. And look for metrics. So don't wait for your clients to ask about how are you going to prove that this is being successful. That should be a part of your upfront discussion with them. How am I going to be measured? And if you don't have any ideas, let me suggest some. Yep, that puts me in the seat of control because I know how to meet my own metrics. I know how to meet my own standard. Next on the list, though, is, this one's a tough one because it took me probably over a decade to really get my head around this. And that is learn to say no and get comfortable with saying no to work. If there is something that you're being asked to do, even if you think you might be able to deliver it, but you're not 100% absolutely certain, especially if you think something isn't going to work quite specifically, learn to say no and turn it down. You're going to be at your best and you're going to be the most successful when you are delivering what you know and what you've got proven track record. Now, in the very beginning, of course, you're probably taking some risks to find out, where are my boundaries? What can I deliver? From an ethics point of view, though, once you come to understand that, it's really important for you to, I guess the expression is, stay in your lane. I have certainly been guilty of stepping outside of that, and because I am courageous, I often will say yes to things that, in hindsight, I shouldn't have said yes to. That took me a good decade out of my 30 years of doing what I do. It's taken me a long time to learn that it's important to say no. Also, the next tip, number 5, is if I'm going to make mistakes with regard to communicating with my clients, I will err on the side of over communication. I send them a few more emails. I give them a little bit more in the report than they expected. I communicate with them in times when, for example, I might not be actively in their environment or actively working on a particular project. Even if that's the case, I'm going to make sure that I'm still staying in communication with them, even when they didn't expect me to. So that also keeps me top of mind. It's as much a marketing technique as it is a relevancy and something that's going to build trust with them. Number 6 on my list is be easy to use. I like to find out from my clients what has gone wrong with other providers or other suppliers that they've worked with. How did people show up painful for them? And I ask them that question specifically. What are the things that, if you were to hire me, could go wrong that would make our relationship untenable or unpleasant in any way? And it's amazing what people will tell you so that you know how to build what you do into something that's going to fit not only for yourself, but for them as well. Now, that takes me back to the other one, know how to say no. There's something that I run into that shows up as a conflict for me when I am delivering. If people are hiring me because I'm a specialist in the area that I'm in, or they're hiring me for my very unique way of doing what I do, then it frustrates me and impacts the end outcome if they start trying to tell me how to do my job. So that's another place where it's a parameter where I'm going to say no, but also I need to understand, is that what the client is looking for? And is that something that is me and is what I do? If not, then I need to say no. If yes, then great. Now I have another way of knowing how can I be really easy to use. Finally, I know that I keep my ego in check, and probably with every set of tips and tools that I would offer in any environment, this is going to be a primary one that you'll hear me say over and over and over again. Learn to discover your own ego, and you can never learn enough about communication. So how can I communicate better with all the people that are going to be engaging with me? How can I be more flexible in what I do? Hope those have helped, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next place our paths cross.